Heat level critical. Target destroyed. Heat level critical. Critical.
Hello fellow Mechwarriors. Today I'm doing a review of the ATM Hunch. This is the Hunchback 2C-B, and obviously it has to be a 2C because ATMs aren't available on Intersphere mechs. Much joy. Anyways, this is a 50-ton mech that does exceptionally well on the battlefield if it's played properly. This is a front help and support mech, and whether it has LRMs or ATMs or SRMs on it, you can take advantage of really helping out on the battlefield and also being a frontline support. But I do not recommend being the tip of the spear, and we'll talk more about that in another video. But in the meantime, let's check this guy out here. So first of all, it's a pretty simple mech. If you can see it, you can shoot it with your ATM or LRMs or SRMs because the weapons are on either side of the cockpit. The laser mounts are down low, and though the arms don't have a lot of structure to them, they do provide a little bit of attrition for helping out on the battlefield. And what I mean by that is taking some of the abuse, because this does have a wide torso. This is actually wider than a Marauder, not a Marauder, excuse me. It's wider than a Warhammer 2C on the sides, and you can really see that from that. And also from the front, it's going to get some abuse. So once again, you do not want to be the tip of the spear, but you can be other things. So taking a look in here, this is, by the way, very important. If you want to build this properly and you're going to do like maybe LRM 20s and LRM 15s, it is important to put the bigger weapon on the top section here in this place. In some mechs, you want to do that the other way around, but doing it this way puts the ATM 9s up high and then the ATM 6s down low. And if you're running just 4 ATM 6s because you want to do that, which does work exceptionally well, you can do that as well. You also get more ammo and a little bit more staying time on the battlefield. I'm not too worried about that because I don't run this as a frontline mech. So I have 2 ATM 9s, 2 ATM 6s, 6 tons of ammo. I have the advanced sensor package on board. I don't need this extra heatsink, but I wanted it because I wanted heat management. And then for secondary weapons, I have ER medium lasers. Now the cool thing about ATMs is that they deliver 3 kinds of value damage. There's value damage at maximum range, and then there's a medium range, and then there's the minimum range. The minimum range is 60 meters. So from 60 meters, and in this case, in all cases, optimum range, unskilled, is 245 meters. They're actually going to deliver 22 damage for the ATM 9s. And the ATM 6s will do 15 damage. So there is a difference on the firepower that's not rated. The rated firepower on this mech is based on the maximum range of the ATM weapons and the optimum range on the energy weapons. It's the way it always is with ATMs, and it's kind of a trade. People would complain one way or the other if it was any one of the other two. So going with the optimum range is probably the maximum range is probably the better choice. But as you can see, there is a difference. So instead of these doing 12 damage, they actually do 15 damage. That's 3 for each one of these. So there's 6 damage additional. And then for these, instead of doing 18 damage, they actually do 22. So that's 4, so that's 8. So we got a 14 damage difference from the 72. So we're actually doing 86 in close quarters for an alpha strike. And that makes this a very formidable mech on the battlefield. Heat management is given as 1.27. Firepower, once again, is 72 based on the numbers I previously discussed. And the speed is 71.3, and that is unskilled. When we go down and take a look at the meat and potatoes, if you run this as an SRM build, you can really take advantage of some serious firepower. But once again, you're limited by going with either medium pulse, some variant of small lasers, or you can go with 2 ER large lasers because it's a clan mech. But either way, you're going to be very limited on what you can do in this space here available. So with the firepower running SRMs, you get a range boost of plus 10, you get a velocity boost of plus 10, and you get a missile spread of minus 7.5. So there are some advantages there. When we go to the survivability, base armor center torso is plus 10, left and right torso you're getting plus 12, and then base structure to the left and right torso you're also getting plus 12, and then center structure you're getting plus 12. So there is some real good advantages in this, and you're getting some really decent additional armor features in here, and you can really see that in the structure here, and also in the features here. This is not bad for a medium mech. 70 is actually pretty good when you really think about it. I'm running 2 cool shots with the UAV because that's just the way I always do things. And when we come to the skills tree in my opinion is underlooked. This is a really important place to be, and for some reason I'm missing a node. Wow, that's weird. Oh, just, alright. It looked weird. Strange. Anyway, so I maxed out on range because I want to get as far out as I possibly can, once again being support, but not the primary weapon system. I wanted heat generation because I want to control my heat. 1.27 is not that impressive. It's really good, but it's not incredible. I skipped out on skills for velocity because I needed to go with a little bit better heat management because I wanted to go with ER medium lasers. I went with a full missile rack for additional ammo, tighter spread, and more chances of doing critical damage. On survival, skeletal density, armor hurting, reinforced casing, always maxed out. 3 points into overheat damage. The reason is because I have a tendency to do alpha strikes with those 4 ATMs, and that does get you hot really quickly. Speaking of getting hot, I run override, so I'm definitely running cool run and heat containment, and that's pretty much, in my opinion, like having free armor. And it's internal armor, because only you should kill you from the inside. Targeting information, I don't really care about that, but I do care about seismic sensor because you want to be able to detect mechs that are close by, especially when you're working with a group. It's going to make a difference between being dead and meeting a murder ball. Normally, I run full radar deprivation, but I had to skimp out on one so that I could get a little bit more heat containment. So otherwise, I've got 4 nodes into radar deprivation and full sensor range. And once again, I wanted 3 consumables. So when you really look at this mech, the way I run this basically is in the beginning of matches, I typically do alpha strikes with these. And then as the match progresses, I typically put them in chain fire and then fire them from there. You can put the ER medium lasers or whatever the laser points on either buttons 1 and 2 or all together. It doesn't matter too much, but I put them on separate buttons because or I put them on a chain fire because I want to minimize my heat output because you will get hot over time. This mech does really well on the battlefield as far as features go, but you can get hot really quickly. A note, the arms, once again, they don't give you a lot of protection, but they'll give you some protection. Most of the time you're going to find that the weapons fire is going to be ending up on these torsos, so you got to be careful with that, and that's why I don't recommend making this as a tip of the spear. A very similar mech to this, I would say, in Inner Sphere would be the Dervish 7D. And the 7D absolutely has better playability as far as being able to take punishment on the battlefield compared to this. But between the two, which one do I do more damage in? The Hunchback every day. As long as you play it right. Anyway, I hope this was useful information, and I hope to see you on the battlefield.